What's going on, guys? This is Trent bringing you a Final Fantasy XIV walkthrough. So I ended the last video because I didn't want to do the dungeon with the last video because it had been too long. But I feel like that was a little short of a video, so I'm going to give you guys two videos today. That way it's not too much of a disappointment. So I'm going to queue into the dungeon. Oh, now I can do duty roulette. But I'm gonna queue into the dungeon, and then I'll come back. I'll bring you guys back once the dungeon pops. Alright, guys, so the dungeon pops. I'm gonna hit commence, and we'll get into it. And another thing to tell you guys about is I did change my HUD. And so what that means is that I'm gonna switch over here, and it makes makes it easier to fight the enemies here in the dungeon. So the thing that we're going through and doing is just eliminating all the enemies in front of us. And then after we do that, we'll face some mini bosses, and then we'll face the final boss. And if you get aggro, just dance around the tank until the tank can get it back. It's the best thing to do. So this is one of the mini bosses. The main thing to do is just make sure you interact with the cultist orb after you defeat the void soul counter. So agreed on those. But yeah, make sure you interact with all 4 of those so that you can fight the main boss. The things people say in chat. So yeah, normally you don't let your tank die, but the healer was focusing on damaging the boss down instead of keeping the tank alive, so that's why our tank died. But it's not really a big deal because the healer brought him back immediately and brought his health back up, and he was able to get aggro back, so at this stage of the game it's not really that hard if your tank dies, or like if anybody dies. Later on it becomes problematic, but we're not at that point yet. Alright, we do not need to go down here. This is just a little side room. Most players don't go down here. Rolled read on that as well. So I'm not getting any dungeon luck for items or armor or anything. But getting the armor from the dungeons is not a necessity. You don't really need to have it. So you don't necessarily need to have the items, the armor from the dungeon. It's nice to have it if you can get it, but if you don't get it, it's not something that will, you know, stop you from being able to continue on in the game. So make sure you interact with that. Not too bad. So I am planning on leveling up Archer, so that bow will come in handy. And another key thing to do when you're the tank is to make sure that you always keep enemies like that facing away. So if the enemy has the area effect attack, don't face them towards the party. Always face them away from the party. But like I said, in this dungeon it really don't matter too much. We're really not gonna get hurt too much about this. So now this one is an interesting one. So we gotta fight these guys, and then we have to go fight some folks down through a little hallway looking thing. I'll show you once we get past this. So we gotta fight these guys down here, and then we can get the other cultist orb. And that will destroy the barrier. Or we can get the rosary, and that will destroy the barrier. And then behind the barrier is the last two orbs that we need. So then we'll take that back. And then we'll input it into the barrier. Defeat the enemies, and then we'll be able to get the orbs. And anybody can destroy the barrier. It's not just the person who picked up the rosary. Alright, so then we'll both destroy those. Again for the tank. After a while, dang it, he becomes invulnerable. We just have to kill the ads. And then he's not invulnerable anymore. But then more ads will show up. It won't just be one ad. And then there should be one more batch. There it is. And then we can get out of the dungeon, do player accommodation. I ain't gonna get it. So now we're gonna see what happens next. So what we're gonna do is report back to go back to Gridania and report back to the where we got the quest from. But I will do that in the next video. For this video, that will be the end of it. In the next video, we'll report back to Gridania. We'll continue on to main scenario quest, and it looks like we may get our level 25 class quest done. So if you guys like this video, and leave a like, subscribe to this channel to see the videos when they drop down. And if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below. As always, take care.